that affected me more than just on a business level. It was sort of my identity as the builder. I'm like, oh my God, am I not good enough at this? Is this what I should be doing? So I was burnt out, exhausted. I think there was a year there where we didn't make any money, like nothing. Just telling clients, hey, we're probably not the cheapest builder. Their first knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, you make more money. No. I just sleep better at night because it's done properly. But they don't understand that either. It's quite hard to show true value without ramming it down their throat sort of thing. That was sort of a tough period there to be sort of thinking, yeah, why am I doing this? Should we sell up and go get a job making just as much money? And it's hard. If this fails, I'll be at Woolies or don't have a backup method or parents that were going to fund me or something. So if I go down, it's a reflection of me. So
what is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch up with people about it.
This episode is brought to you by Forte, specialist in refined timber surfaces for inside and out. From elegant flooring and paneling to durable cladding and decking, Forte delivers unparalleled performance where it matters most. Their products are crafted to elevate every space, combining natural beauty with technical precision and enduring design with innovation. Discover more at forte.co.nz. Jarryd, thank you for coming on the pod.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's good. We're just talking off air of you making the big drive from Brisbane to Gold Coast. Is it the drive's just getting worse, is it?
It's the reason I don't work down here. Yeah, it's you allow an hour, it takes an hour and a half because a Tesla'd run up the arse of someone, and yeah. Anyway, that's why we stick to Brisbane.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Sometimes it's it's kind of easy to see, like, to get a bit of what's the word? Shiny object syndrome. When you look at other areas, you're like, oh, we could do a bit of that as well there.
Yeah.
Or you just see people on Instagram doing well, and you assume, you don't know all the shit they had to deal with to kind of get that done.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a few sort of carrots dangled to come down here, and it's like, oh, they're nice homes. Maybe we have a go. And yeah, logistically, it's probably just not worth it. We do well enough in Brisbane, stick to our lane sort of thing.
Yeah. I think that sometimes more often than not the smart choice is just like stick with your niche. And
it's ego. Just got to keep a lid on your ego. Yeah, and you'll be fine.
That's it, eh? Have you ever had a bit of has ego ever played like a bit of part in how you've grown your business? Because I know for the construction industry, it's like, I don't know, like talking to guys over the years, there's always a little bit of a comparing to white collar office job friends. You come up the trades, your mates are like accountants or a lawyer. And so immediately like you feel a little bit like, you got to like keep up. And then there's other builders and like how many guys you've got and like all that sort of comparison, Instagram. Have you ever felt like your ego kind of coming in a little bit too much?
I'm pretty modest, so I can keep a lid on it, but it's there for everyone, definitely. Like the worst thing for a builder is having Instagram, because we win a big job worth like 3 million, and I'm like, oh my God, that's great. Go on Instagram and there's like a $7 million one, and you're like, oh, but yeah, you just got to be humble, I think. Everyone's different, We're doing well in our niche, and that's sort of what keeps us happy.
That sucks, eh? So if you just kind of go through your whole life, like just constantly being like, we progress, we've been doing well, and then it's just that comparison, right?
Yeah. It'd be the same in any industry. Yeah, you just got to keep yourself humbled, eh? It's so easy, especially with builders, because all we do is, our job is to be like, look at this cool thing, and look at this cool thing, and you're constantly sort of rubbing it in the noses of other builders, basically. But it's weird, like those big jobs aren't necessarily any better for cash or anything like that. It's just the prestige that comes with it. So
yeah, because it's like architectural, it's like a nice thing, right? It's probably similar to like luxury cars or something like that, where it's like it's constantly in your face. Like some other builder building some sexy architectural thing, and it's like constantly in your face. That's probably the thing that makes you compare. Yeah, because a lot of those jobs, they may not make that much profit compared to like you doing like a more of like a quote unquote uglier project down the road, but it's
We've
all
definitely
shiny.
found that, yeah. Like the
Yeah.
little ones is where the cream's at. They're easy. You pump them out, Everyone wants to do the big ones, but yeah, you got to run a sustainable business as well.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, well, tell me a little bit about where you grew up. Did you grow up in Brizzy or did you
Yeah,
live
grew
there?
up in the Redlands.
Where's that?
So just Bayside, sort of
Okay, cool.
Wellington Point area, Cleveland, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then, didn't really venture too far from there. We don't do much work out there. Most of it's inner city stuff, as you know. That's where all the big dollars are, sort of thing.
Yeah, so you grew up there, you went to school there.
Yeah, went to school, Wellington Point. Yeah.
What was that like? What was like to grow up
what
in
was
that
school
neighborhood?
like for me? I haven't been asked that in a long time. Pretty good, I reckon. Yeah, I liked it.
Standard?
Yeah, I think so. I was a very generic kid, did sort of sports, and then, you just find your identity and you party a bit and then you calm down a bit and, just the usual.
Trying like different personalities as you go on.
Yeah. Who am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
What crowd am I going to be in? So,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what did your parents do when you were young?
so my mum's a pharmacy assistant, so like retail manager for a pharmacy, and my dad was a manager of a big wholesale nursery chain. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, the apple fell far from the tree in that
Yeah.
sense. But, yeah.
And did you know from a young age you wanted to be in the trades or builder, or like why not like be a lawyer or a accountant or
Yeah,
something?
I reckon I was like 8 years old and my parents built their first home, and I just remember going there and I was just like captivated. I'd want to be there every day, and I was like digging little holes and just playing around with shit. And I ended up like cutting my finger to pieces on things and just loved it. And then from that day on, I was like, I want to be like the carpenter. And I couldn't figure out the difference between a carpenter and a builder until I was like 17. I was like, what's the difference in this and this? And eventually figured it out. I was like, all right, that's how I got to get there. So
Yeah.
that was all I ever did and all I'll ever do. Yeah, I love it.
It's crazy, like that you kind of felt that from a young age, because people don't always know. I mean, obviously, as young boys, or young girls, whatever, you kind of have like the generic, I want to be a fireman or something like that. It's cool, but most people don't really know what they that interested in. So the fact that you were interested in that, the practical element and the being on site, and because it's a bit of a vibe, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then how would your friends have described you like when you were young?
Oh, man, that's a hard question. I don't know what they would have thought. Hopefully good things.
Were you like the jock, the hippie, the nerd, the emo kid?
I was a culmination of sort of what I would like to think they would say is a cool nerd. So I was pretty good in school. I didn't play up too much. But yeah, that was sort of later years when you're 17, 18, you start mucking up a bit more. But just fairly average. I was quite driven, I knew what I wanted to do and how I was going to get there. So I didn't really float through or anything like that.
So you kind of grew up pretty stock standard. What sort of sport did you get into?
Touch footy. Yeah, touch footy was my sport.
Okay.
I loved NRL, but mum never let me. Yeah, didn't want the head knock. So yeah, thanks to her, it's probably why I'm running a successful business now. Not full of concussions.
No CTE or anything like that?
None of that. But yeah, touch footy was the sport.
Oh, cool. And then what was the process of you kind of getting, your eye on the trades or getting in towards your, being on site? Did you leave school early? Did you finish school?
Yeah, mine was a bit strange. So I was going to finish grade 12 and then halfway through grade 11, I decided I'm not doing it. I'm going to get a trade. And I did I think it's the Cert 1, like the Prevo, just general construction course at TAFE. Did that and then got like a job trial or work experience with a local chippy, and that was it. He offered me the job after that, and I stayed with him for probably 2 years, and then wanted to get a bit more experience doing different aspects. So started moving around a bit. But that was it. It was a pretty stock standard entry into it.
What was it like? Can you remember what it was like the first time you kind of walked on a construction site? As not as a young boy with your mum and dad, but like as a employee, was it like nerve-wracking, exciting?
Oh, probably both. Yeah, I think it was exciting because I knew, like very quickly, I knew I was good at it. It wasn't one of those things I was like, I'm gonna have to work at this for a long time. Like I got the job and was just killing it. Fairly early on. I'm sure my first boss would say otherwise. But like I picked it up quick and just sort of kept developing the passion for it really.
Yeah, so you kind of like, you were like naturally good at it. So that's good. And then So you moved around to get some different job experiences, and then how long did it take you to kind of finish your apprenticeship? So to speak?
I think I did the full 4 years. Yeah, I didn't do it any quicker or any longer. And then as soon as I was done, yeah, that was I must have done 2 or 3 years on the tools after that, and then was kind of looking into the junior foreman roles and more managey stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of conversation around there's a bit of chatter around when you get your apprenticeship, do your apprenticeship with your boss and you get qualified, to show a little bit of loyalty, not be that guy to just kind of get qualified and then the next day he's giving us resignation papers. What are your thoughts on that in terms of is that a thing is that a honest bit of chat around that, or do you think that it doesn't matter?
It does matter, definitely. Yeah, if you're offered the job, I think it's a sort of show of respect. Any builder knows that apprentices aren't sort of just cheap labour. They do cost money. So especially if you've got a good one, it hurts when they leave, that's for sure. Not all of them. You don't want everyone to stay. But yeah, I did it the right way, and most of the guys that I've brought through have done the same thing. Most of them will do that year, and then they kind of find their confidence, and then they'll start chasing dollars. And, as usual, someone down the road will pay them $5 more an hour because they've made their resume look good, sort of thing. But yeah, doing a year or two is kind of the sort of morally right thing to do, I guess.
Yeah, because I guess the boss was been involved, putting in a lot of extra hours, training you up, making sure the boys are up, giving you a bit of extra time, teaching you how to do things.
Yeah.
You should really kind of show a little bit of loyalty and
it's expected. Yeah. It doesn't always happen.
Yeah. So how long did it take you then before you started Tide Construction?
I reckon maybe 6 years or something post qualification. So yeah, got my certificate, did a couple of years, and then sort of got into management. And same thing, I just leveraged what I did to get a slightly more impressive job with probably not the right skills for it, and then swam like buggery to make it work. And so probably 6-ish years. I started when I was 26 or 27. I started Tide, so yeah, it was pretty early. Definitely learned a lot of lessons starting a business at that age, that's for sure.
And did you learn anything from your boss there in terms of the business side? Obviously when you worked your way up, did you learn anything about project management at that point in time, about quoting, about
heaps. Yeah, I had a really, really good mentor when I first got into managing, and really took me under his wing and put the time into me. And that's why when I started at 26, I knew that I would be okay because I had the basic sort of skills to get there, which sadly these days not everyone gets. It's pretty easy to get a cert for and someone sort of squiggle their name to say you've done your time. But yeah, I was very fortunate in that sense that he put the time into me to teach me a lot of those things.
And how did you, practically, how did that work? Would he take some time aside, bring you to the office, show you around?
There was instances I broke my wrist on the motocross track, and I was in the office for 5 months, and he could have easily just got rid of me, but he was sort of in there. I studied, learnt the inner workings of the business, those sorts of things. So yeah, just had a lot of time for me. But I think his goal was that I would stay there, and, he'd turn me into a bit of a weapon. But naturally, people like me don't hang around. So
yeah. So breaking your arm was one of the best things that could have happened to you?
Yeah, I learnt a lot. Yeah, got to sit in his office for, a few months. So really learn what makes a builder tick.
Yeah. Okay, so you went out on your own. You started the company. Got the logo done, looking good. Did you go straight away and buy a nice ute? And how did you?
Yeah, everyone does. Yeah, I got the biggest loan I possibly could. Yeah, I did exactly that. Yeah, got a new ute, big trailer, all the tools, went into heaps of debt, just work. So
beautiful signage.
Everything.
All up?
Yeah, done. That was the most important thing, when you start a business, is the name. Everyone thinks that. Yeah. I have mates now that do it. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Call it your initials. No one gives a shit. So just did it the traditional sense. Got everything kitted out, and then I was on. wasn't Higher Pages. Service Seeking used to be the one.
Right.
It was one of those, one of the platforms you don't go on nowadays, but that's basically what sort of got me my first few jobs, really.
And then was just like what, decks and
Just little stuff. Yeah. I had a lot of experience doing like remedial work with previous builder. So, house re-stumping with tight access, like, retaining walls that were failing, all those sorts of things that the average builder starting out is not going to want to know about. That was what I was grabbing. I was like, cool, no one's going to do that. I'll make a few dollars off it, do a good job. That's kind of how I survived.
And how did you have like any idea at the time around how you wanted to be different or how you wanted to, separate yourself from the pack?
Yeah, I think that was my angle, was that I had done a lot of remedial work on the QBCC panel back then when it was still run by QBCC for the insurance work. And I used to use that as my like sales pitch. I'd say, look, I've done repairs on buildings that have failed and they're $3 million jobs, and just kind of trying to show people that I knew more than what the average, 26-year-old kid does, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it took me some time, as it does with anyone, when you start to find your identity as the builder, like what kind of builder am I? And it definitely probably took me a solid year to figure out what that was. And I think I moved on to kind of trying to tell clients that, because I'm young, I've got more to lose. Like I don't have the ability of being the fat cow, just like, well, whatever. So that worked, to some extent, but it's not the best tactic in the world.
Yeah. That's good. You got to, like, because there's pros and cons. You start off, then it means, hey, I'm really going to care. I'm going to be here every day. I'm going to make sure I got something to prove. And then if you've been in the game a long time, like you are now, you can go like, you don't want to use those young guys. They don't know what they're doing. And
you play this. Yeah, exactly.
So you play to your strengths, but you use what you got. You know what I mean? What are some of the like mistakes you made early on? Do you think, if you look back?
Probably hiring the wrong guys or not having the balls to get rid of people like that, or, just kind of justifying things like, no, they're okay, they're pretty good. And nowadays, if it's not right, they're cut, gone, if they don't fit the culture. So not that did a whole lot of damage, but like now we have an amazing crew, it's taken years, but they're brilliant. So we just wouldn't put up with anyone who's not up to that level. So
what would that do? Like, is it just like a bad apple in the bunch? Like,
just inexperience, like people, exactly what I said that I did in my career, like people leveraging their job to pretend they're better than what they are, sort of thing. So you'd put I won't name names or anything, but you put people on and they sort of sink or swim and they're sinking and you're trying to prop them up. And unfortunately, as much as they can be your mate, you need to just snip them and move on. So yeah, that was the first few years of trading. That was definitely an issue, but it's also something that every business is going to have. Like when you're a startup, you're not going to attract the best candidates. You sort of have to deal with what comes through and make it work. So yeah.
How do you kind of attract good, good team members now, like good guys? Like, do you think that there's an element of how you, because we talk about branding and things like, like looking good. That's also part of it, right? The way you kind of present yourself, they're going to see what you look like on Instagram as well as future clients. Yeah. And they're going to see the vibe. And then obviously there's got to be the reality behind it as well, like the team culture and that. Like, how do you attract like good team members to come to work for you at Tide?
Good question. Yeah, it's hard. Like we're constantly looking for good guys. And yeah, you're right, branding, those sorts of things, you're already half vetted by the time they come to you. A lot of our tactic is like people we know. So one of our guys might know a guy and, usually he's better than the guy off Seek or something. So yeah, we try to keep it as sort of tight-knit and as in-house as possible like that. But yeah, it's a constant battle to try and attract the right people. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, I think that's a good tactic. I mean, a lot of people I've talked to do that, and I've seen now that you say that good business owners is constantly like, because it's going to be culture fit as well. When someone, I know this guy, he'll fit in. Yeah. He's really good. We tried that in our office with Dan, our producer, but he had all shit friends. None of them were any good.
Yeah, and it's then his fault. Yeah, we've done that before. Yeah, my guys are
like,
probably reluctant now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just joking. In some instances, I wasn't. I'm not. Okay, so you let's talk about your company now. So, how long have you guys been in operation now?
I think this is the 8th year in October. Yeah, 8,
So how
maybe
old are you
9.
now?
Yeah, 33.
33. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're still young. You're really young.
Yes.
Which is awesome. But so 8 years, and then give me a bit of a rundown of the structure of your company, like how how big is your team? Classic question. Who works where? What's the crew mix? Do you have office staff? How does that work?
So in the office we have myself, and then there's Kelly, the office manager. She sort of does the accounts, all those sorts of things. We've got Adam, my construction manager. He's been with me for 6 or 7 years. He sort of oversees, all the jobs, all the typical things a construction manager does. And then we've got 3 project managers that work under him. They will each do 2 jobs at a time, maybe 3 if they're small. And then under those guys, they have a crew each, so a crew of chippies. So ideally, they have 4 guys. They don't always get that, but yeah, between 2 jobs, 4 guys, they can kind of make everything work.
Yeah.
We take the approach of do as much in-house as you can, which is not for everyone, definitely, because there's more risk. And, if you ask a business coach that, they're going to say you're an idiot and that's not how you should do it. But in terms of our product, we produce a better product doing it that way, albeit we have to deal with 15 employees, so it makes it a little bit harder. But yeah, we have a heavy management system, I would say.
It does seem quite like top heavy in terms
it is.
of the
yeah. So our overheads sit, I would say, a little bit higher than what a lot of other guys do, but it gives me the ability to do business development stuff, take time away, put out fires like that. So not a lot will slip through the cracks with us now.
So they're like the implementation, or the delivery of the work is it's a lot more controlled.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not everyone wants to pay for that, but that is the way that it should be done. When you're dealing with a custom home, you need a guy on site the whole time who's managing it, and you can't do that if you don't have enough people to do it. So yeah.
So not to put you on the spot, but do you know what percentage of your overall turnover is overheads?
15%.
15%. Okay.
So,
and what would be a standard, more closer to 10, or what would be
from what I've heard from my peers, I would say it's closer to 10. But 5% over a $3 million job, if they like you, that's not the deciding factor.
Yeah.
So we are constantly working to get it down. We are top heavy right now, but we're also geared up to turn over probably another 20% to what we are. So I run the business model more of a long-term thing of, okay, as we grow, we can sustain it. We're not going to be run off our feet and having issues left, right, and center. So
yeah. So there's something about sleeping at night, knowing that the delivery of your projects, things are working as they should, and you have some level of control. Because as soon as you bring a subcontractor in, or someone that's not sort of officially within your company, it's just like another headache or potential headache that can
come. They just miss things. It's not in their best interest to foresee the project through. What's in their best interest is to do their part right, and that's it. And we have some very good subbies, but they're not project managers,
Yeah. How do you manage all the other subbies, like the plumbers, electricians, all the other subcontractors that don't work within your team? Is it
pretty
you guys
easily
figured out a way to, and how did you say fairly easily? How come it's so easy? As you use the same guys over and over?
Yeah, it's a combination of that. They know what our process is. So it's that, having project managers around all the time, so they're constantly checking things. And then having really good processes. So not just running it like a project home where they show up, do their work, leave, invoice, and it might get checked, it might not. We'll run, sort of 50-point checklist pre-starts and do mud maps and handover audits and all those sorts of things that just pick up on errors as early as possible. So it works really well, but you still have errors. It just highlights them quickly to us.
Yeah. Some builders will be listening to this going, oh, gee, there's a lot of checklists. You got the processes. Who helped you with setting up your systems and processes? You've been 8 years in the game, but, you've obviously fast tracked a lot of that stuff. Like, where did you look? Who did you look to? Who helped you?
I haven't had like formal sort of business coaching or anything like that. I would just say it's from experience with, my previous employer, who kind of showed me the importance of correct methods and those sorts of things. So I've taken that approach to this. I would say if I worked for a project builder, my approach would be totally different, because theirs is like just spin the wheels and churn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no sort of formal training. I'd say trial and error, and I'm very conservative with the way I approach things. So if I'm not sure of it, I'll go check it, and I don't like to just assume things are done right, because I've learned in the past they're usually not if you do that. So yeah. Hence why we're a bit management heavy, but I sleep very well at night, like you said.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of doing it like that. So you can, if you need to go away for 2 weeks, it's not going to be the end of the world.
Correct. Yeah. We had that set up for the last probably 4 or 5 years, like similar size to that. And to give you an example, a year ago, I spent a year traveling around Australia with my wife, and the business ran at full capacity while I was gone. So I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah, that was a testament to like, that's what you call a healthy building company. We're not necessarily making $20 million, but we're sustaining profits and everything's going right. Everyone's happy. So yeah, it was scary to do that, but it was a good learning curve that we're doing the right thing,
Yeah, that's almost a definition of success right there, just having that freedom.
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you go around?
We went anti-clockwise around Australia. So we sold a house, hooked the boat on to a big Isuzu 4x4 truck with a big pot on the back, and just left like July 2 years ago and came back July last year.
And did you and your wife, or who?
Yeah, just my wife and I. Yep. So we got married February before that, and then it was like that post-COVID-y time, and I was it was a bit like, fuck it, I'm going for a year kind of thing, and then I did it and learnt more on that trip than like anything else before it. Just like the fact that we do kind of want to work, even though we all whinge about it. Like, you do a year for not working, and it's a bit strange, especially if you're a bit of a goer. You sort of, you get sort of fidgety and realize why you do what you do.
Is that what you learned? Is that like you
mostly
you like dream about holiday, but when you're after you've done it 4 weeks, you kind of get
it's the yin and yang of life. Yeah, like everyone says, oh, if I won the lotto, I'd retire forever. I would be screwed. I think if you're by yourself with no challenge and nothing to chew on for that amount of time, your demons come up, sort of thing. Like, you realize you can't just work every day, and it's a very strange thing. Most people sort of would say and did say that I took it for granted, but I kind of learned more about the fact of, okay, well, I choose to work because it's healthy for me, so that when I do have these 4-week holidays, I can go and enjoy them. Yeah. Otherwise, they're not a holiday. It's just your life.
So what what was it like traveling around? Did you slow ride down, or did you? I bet you the first few months were just kind of like a bit like
chaos, man. Yeah,
you're just like figuring out what to do with your time.
Get into the routine.
And you were like newly married, right? So you're just kind of like figuring that out.
Yeah, you're locked in a caravan with your wife for a year. Yeah, it's pretty testing. We're still together, actually. So.
Miracle.
But the first month was chaos. I had this big fancy boat trailer built to like handle off-road, and we were driving into Stanage Bay, probably 5 o'clock. We'd had a couple of beers. We were about to go out to the Percy Islands, and look back to my rearview mirror, and the whole axle had exploded. So we had to tow the truck and the boat back to Rocky, and we were there for 2 weeks, and we're like, what are we doing? Should we fucking go home? And after that it was fine. We just sort of learnt what to appreciate, I suppose. The simple things.
Bit of adventure.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. We went to everywhere you could possibly go on the coast. We pretty much went there. So it was mostly a fishing trip for me.
Yeah,
it's the main thing.
I love that. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the adventure, is that the smoother it is, the less of an adventure, and the more things go wrong, the more of an adventure it actually is. So
the more time goes by, the more we realize how like crazy it was what we did, and how we lived and still had the business. And while you're doing it, you're like, this is so hard. I hate it. I didn't even have kids too, so it would have been a lot harder then.
Yeah, it's funny when you look at the Instagram version of people traveling around Australia is probably very different to the reality.
Looks very glamorous. Yeah.
Yeah. See the drone shots of the sunset.
They don't film you emptying the cassette shitter every 3 days and not showering for a week. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I mean, be able to go away for that long, that's kind of like, that means you've gone from, you being the center of your business to you removing yourself and then building a proper structure and a organizational chart essentially of your company so that things can run without you there. What advice do you have for, and I want to talk a little bit more about your business now, but while I think of it, what advice do you have for other builders who are thinking of, because there's a lot of builders out there, thousands probably, where it's like them and a bunch of little helpers. It's like everything revolves around them. The client, it's about them. Everyone's running to them. The subbies check in with them. What are some of the first steps that you think builders should take to kind of like slowly start to remove themselves? What are some of the first roles that they should look to hire for, or what advice do you have in general?
You need to find the guy that you can trust and pay him whatever he wants plus more. If a builder's turning over $10 million a year, another $20,000 for a really good construction manager is nothing. That was essentially what gave me the ability to do it, was having, Adam, my construction manager there, and Justin, who's been with me from the start, So it's also time. Like, you're not going to hire someone and tomorrow they're going to be doing the role. It took me 4 or 5 years with Adam to teach him exactly what I want to do. And then you get to a point where you're in sync with each other. They can run the business without you, but it's just little steps, little bits of exposure, and then kind of having the confidence to let go a little bit as well. That you learn a lot of lessons doing that, because sometimes you give a bit too much rope and other times you're a bit restrictive. But after a couple of years of doing it, it does work if you get the right people.
Yeah, so you so you start with one person, and what role would you let them do, like a construction management type role, or what sort of role would you try to sort of push them into?
You'd call them a site supervisor, which is what Adam did for me. Just managed jobs. I still had all the clients coming to me, still did all the scheduling, did pretty much everything except for the sticks and bricks side of it. And then you just scale it, get another one, get sort of another one, and then he's in charge of those two and he does a little bit more. And just baby steps is, I don't think it's the only way, but it's definitely the safest way, that's for sure. We've all heard those horror stories of people listening to a business coach that says, you need these 6 guys to run your business, and 5 of them are shit, and then you go bankrupt. So like I said, I learned a lot of lessons hiring not the right people in early days, and you don't want to do that too many times in a row, or you can be in hot water pretty quick, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's almost like being happy to slow down the pace of your growth at the to have the benefit of just slowly but surely like training people up in different roles. Yeah,
definitely. Like, having a business for 8 years is not a short amount of time. A lot of people think like, and so did I. I was like, I'll be a builder, I'm going to get a house, and then I'm going to do a bigger home. And it took me like 2 years just to get a house, like not a reno. And that was like, I realized I've got to grind at this forever. So I think it's just really taking your time with things is it's important for a sustainable growth, I would say. A lot of people have had success going quick, but that's not me. I'd rather go slow and steady.
It's funny, those guys that grow quicker, like it's all, you kind of see it, you go, cool, everyone wants that.
Yeah.
You don't see this, then you also maybe check in 10 years later and see where they're at. Sometimes they go sort of up and boom. And then also some of them, you can't have it all. So they may grow fast, but then you talk to their staff and they're like, it's a shit show working here, mate. Like nothing, no systems, nothing. You know what I mean? So then you get the other side as well. Yeah. I guess there are people that can do both. But I think it's better to just, I think sometimes slow and steady is better, and things always take twice as long and cost twice as much as you think.
Twice as frustrating. Yeah.
Twice as frustrating.
I think every builder would agree. It's a grind no matter how you do it. Yeah.
And then just staffing, you train people up and then they leave. And so there's those sort of things as well. A quick shout out to Forte supporting today's episode. They work across flooring, wall surfaces, exteriors, and more. But what sets them apart is how their timber performs over time. Forte is trusted by architects, designers, and builders, not just for their materials, but for the way they support projects from vision to completion. It's about enriching connections and creating something built to last. Learn more at forte.co.nz. So when it comes to your projects, how many projects do you guys sort of work on at a time? Like 3? You got 3 teams going, or how do you guys work?
So ideally 6 at a time. It does vary, obviously. You know, we'll have quiet periods and busy periods. We're at a point now where we've expanded a little bit. So still 6 projects, but they're just larger turnover. But the idea is, 1 project manager, 2 builds. You know, there's only so much stuff they can miss over 2 projects, right? So 6 at a time, but ideally 6 good, you know, new builds sort of thing.
Yeah.
The little jobs you churn the little ones out quicker, but then you need to get another one quicker. So
yeah. And what's sort of the average project that you guys work on? Like
it varies. We're the kind of builder where I won't just do like a new home. I still do 500-600K extensions, and that's just for cash flow purposes. You know, they bring money in quick while the other ones are slow. So we have a project manager that kind of specializes in those, and he's been with me forever, and he can just go and do them with his eyes closed. And then we'll have one that's worth 2.5 or 3 million. So that adds complexity to running the business for sure. When you've got projects that go for 6 months and then projects that go for a year and a half, it's different tactics, I suppose.
That's quite good though. So you've got like a project manager that sort of, that's what he does over and over and over again. So you get really good at that.
Yeah.
And then his crews can do that, and then the other ones are a bit more slow.
Yeah. We've only really found our stride in that in the last kind of year or so. It was like, okay, well, he didn't do well on that. Let's put him where his strengths are, and vice versa for the other guys. So, yeah.
I think that's good. I mean, it creates more complexity, but you know, for cash flow, it's good. It's probably more profitable a lot of the times, those projects. And they fill jobs, right? You're kind of waiting, and big jobs gets pushed out, and then you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, every builder knows now. You're tendering on a $2 million build. You're going to be working with them for probably the good part of a year before you break ground. Like things just go so slow in the industry at the moment that those little master suite extensions, you can just kind of pump them out. Still, they're still slower, but it kind of supplements when you're waiting 4 months for an approval and those sorts of things.
Yeah. In terms of how you get your work, how is it? Do you guys work with architects? Do you guys work with clients? A bit of both? Do you guys do a lot of marketing? Is it all word of mouth? How do the work come into the door?
Tried everything. I'm finding better recipes now than I've used previously. So we had done a lot of marketing in early days, and it worked extremely well. But that was back when Instagram for builders was not massive. You know, we weren't like the first to do it, but we were one of the first to kind of do the look at our story, this is our life kind of approach, and it worked really well. Over the years, I've just spent less and less on that type of marketing. To be honest, word of mouth, as everyone knows, is where you get your jobs. Like someone rings you and said, hey, you built the one down the road, do you want to do mine? As long as you're not a dickhead, you'll probably get that job. So that's been a hard lesson for me to learn, because you can't control word of mouth. It just comes when it comes kind of thing. It's not like a button you can push like Google Ads and stuff starts trickling through. Word of mouth, which is, we're getting more and more traction with that now as we're sort of a little bit older and have done some nicer projects as well. The actual paid marketing side, I certainly haven't figured that beast out yet. That's for sure. I don't know who has, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely like, to be honest, I haven't found a lot of builders that do it well. We can kind of point to and go, I want to do how they do it. There's not a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
But then it's good that you guys have done like the big story pieces and making sure that you present really well. What people sometimes don't realize is there's actually no like, yes, you can drive paid advertising, and you can get traction. You can use a lot of tactics to get people to book calls with you and do a consultation, or like maybe do like a price optimization workshop, or like, there's different sort of ways that you could try to get people in tactic wise. But I guess overall it's just multiple touch points, because you say like the guy down the road, he sees, so what he's going to do is he sees you on the side of the truck tied, then he like Google's tied, you come up, he looks on there, and now he's lying, watching TV at night on his phone, and he sees your Instagram, and then he goes on your website. Now he watches your why story, and then then he forgets about you, and then like a week later, like you drive past in traffic, and then he calls you, and you go, "Oh, that was just a phone call, word of mouth." But it's all the little,
100%.
little
It
touch
takes a
points.
long time to learn that too, because it's not tangible. Like no one really explains to you how they got onto you. They'll just be like, "Oh, I saw you driving" or something. They're not like, "Well, you popped out this day exactly like you said," you know.
Yeah,
So we are pivoting slightly more towards that just branding side of things, which, as you know, it's a long game. You know, you spend money now or do things now. In 2 years' time, that person might ring you. But, it's kind of the only way to get decent organic leads, I would say, apart from word of mouth. So
yeah, it's very interesting because you got the brand side, and then you got like the lead generation, like paid advertising side, and they kind of they work hand in hand, but they're two different things. And if you look at where AI is moving forward, like, and what if you look at Meta, Facebook, Instagram, even Google, like the products they're bringing out and services they're bringing out, it's going to get to a point in the near future where any builder can just go on Meta platform and just go, "Hey, this is our vibe. Here's my website. Create like a bunch of ads for me," and the ads will just go live. So that element will become very easy to do. Anyone can do it, and it'll be commoditized.
Yeah, that's well said. That's what I've noticed. Like I said, our stuff was really impressive, like back in the day, and I wouldn't post it now because it's like there's so many people doing it. And I think what we were talking about before is like if you're doing that, you have to have an edge. I don't know what it is, but the guys that find that little edge, that's the ones that get ahead with the paid stuff.
So then if the ads and the sort of the math behind it and the tactical aspects become commoditized, we believe that I was just talking to the guys the other day in my team around that it's actually the brand. The brand is the bit you can't commoditize. So the more that the builder leans into them, like the more you lean into you, and really like go deeper and deeper and deeper into who's Jarryd, who's the team, who are the personalities. Those are the things you can't really commoditize. Because no one could be a better Jarryd than Jarryd. So it's a very interesting thing to think about, Like how do you lean into that? The more you lean into that, the better off you'll be in the long run, I think. But it's an ongoing thing, and I get it. So architects, do you work with architects as well?
I work with a few architects and a few designers. They've sort of come and gone over the years, but we have a group that we work with now that it's sort of quid pro quo, you know, we all look after each other kind of thing, and some more than others, obviously. So you've got to look where you put your efforts, but that is as good as a referral. You know, if you get in the pocket of a good architect and sort of keep them happy, you're laughing all the way to the bank. It's a free lead, you know, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, and it's over and over and over. If you do a good
you're
job.
already vetted, you know, they're preferred. So yeah, it's taken me, again, a long time to get them because any architect's not going to be like, "Oh, that guy did a good bathroom, come and do this $3 million build." So again, you got to kind of leverage your way up there.
Yeah.
But we have a pretty good group that we work with now.
And how do you guys, whether it's architects or clients, how do you demonstrate your value beyond just like being price competitive?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that one either. Yeah, it depends on the day, who the client is. I try not to be too salesman-y to the client, so I keep it as organic as possible. And I don't intentionally put out the fact that we do those, the audits and the checks or all those sorts of things, because it kind of comes across like a salesman pitch. So I'll usually meet clients and spend an hour or two with them just chatting, you know, just like we are. And as things come up that I can see they are like there's a word for it, but like something that I can add value to or a problem that I can solve, then I'll kind of insert a story or something. You know, we all know the story of the power of storytelling. So yeah, as organically as I can, basically. And then, I like to show them other projects we've done. So I'll physically go and walk them through something, and I'll make a point to make sure some of my guys are there, my project managers, so they can meet them in a sense that's not in our office and be like, "Hey, this is him," you know, and it's just awkward and uncomfortable. So it it's what works for me.
And how would you meet them? So how would you do that? Go have a coffee or something, or how would you get them?
Usually one of two things. They'll come into our office first, or I'll go meet them on site. And I have like a little PDF or a sort of paper booklet that I kind of run them through what our process is. Explain to them what the next steps are. And like I said, as I'm kind of going through that, they will show things that they're concerned about or things that they've been burnt on or other sorts of things like that. So yeah, usually at the house or in our office, and then I'll walk them through something we're building.
Yeah.
And they get to touch. And I think if you can show them a cool house, that's usually where we get our hooks in kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something about that, eh? Like that's why sometimes, with the volume builders, they have the benefit of like a display home or something like that.
It's exactly what I say to them. Yeah. I'm like, come have a look. Because otherwise it's me being like, yeah, I do really, really good work.
Trust me, we can do it.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard as a custom builder to have that. You can't really have that sales pitch, You've got to go show them something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, eh? Because people they're not very imaginative when it comes to that. Red flag. So when you see clients, I assume you want clients that are in alignment with you and with your values and how you guys like to work. No one wants to work with a nightmare client for a year and a half.
Yep.
What are some of the things you look out for outside? I mean, I assume some of it's gut feel, but outside of gut feel, are there any things that you look for that you go, oh yeah, this would be a good client? No, this is not going to be a good client.
We've got one vetting system, and that's that I charge for my quoting. If someone's prepared to pay for that, they respect me and my time. So since I've done that, I really haven't had any bad clients. There's obviously clients that are going to require more attention, but even clients that sort of say, if they say to me, oh, the other builder's not charging that, I know straight away that that's not for me. So I know this sounds selfish, but I don't like tendering against other builders because it just creates this weird dynamic of, it's just dollars. Obviously every builder would like to be doing it by themselves as well, but I find I have a lot more success when I'm working with them from the start, no strings attached. They get to know me. We end up getting the build in the end of it. So yeah. So charging is the key, I think. The builders that aren't charging for quotes, they need to start.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
And when you get to charge, what do they pay for? They pay for the do you use a QS or do you?
I do it myself.
Okay. And they pay for that. And they pay for some of the consultative elements to it?
I do it all third party, so I don't put any into that under my umbrella,
Right.
Just because every house is different. Like I said, we might do a $500K reno or a $3 million new build. So I kind of advertise it as like, look, I'm there as a client-side project manager right up until I become your builder as the contract gets signed. And we just kind of oversee everything that's happening. Usually the way that I show value is I say, look, I'll do a more detailed proposal for you because you're paying me for it, which is just a fact. You're going to put more effort in. So we give them a proper bill of quantities. Everything's itemized. I'll also go through and do a value management notes as I'm pricing it to say, okay, well, you told me your budget was $1 million. I've landed at $2 million. Here's what you need to do. Do you want to do it? Half of it they're going to say yes, half they're going to say no. And then we'll do that exercise 2 or 3 times, and we'll do it efficiently and thoroughly. And that's where the value lies, is that they've got someone there who's actually batting for them to get their project built, not just someone who's like, are you going to build it or not, mate?
Yeah.
So
you charge them for that. You charge them up front, and that obviously they pay for that whole process. That's good. And then obviously if people go, they're not, and that's a great way of getting rid of tie kickers and people that are.
It's the only way I've learned that works. Yeah. Everyone likes their gut feel, but we're all business owners at the end of the day. So it's pretty hard to say no to someone who's willing to pay for a quote,
Yeah.
You also get that period of time between then and when you sign the contract to.
So hard, because
push them away.
Yeah, like clients aren't, a lot of them aren't sophisticated. They don't understand. So. If it's a competitive, it's just a lose-lose situation in the end. If you go in a competitive quoting environment, because they don't understand that they need to ask, okay, well, what's going to be your building methodology and what's going to be how you're going to approach this and that. Like they don't even know to ask for that half the time. So it all comes down to that number at the bottom. And if they're only going to choose you based on the number at the bottom, then everyone's almost losing just trying to do it like that.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so difficult because just telling clients, hey, we're probably not the cheapest builder, their first knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, you make more money. It's like, no. I just sleep better at night because it's done properly. But they don't understand that either, you know. I think that's across any industry. It's quite hard to show true value without, ramming it down their throat sort of thing.
Yeah. How do you, I'm always quite interested with when it comes to custom building, where I know that you have to be quite involved. Like, how do you guys, and maybe you've already answered this a little bit through your structure, but how do you guys maintain that good quality as you grow? Because obviously you've got 6 projects going, you know, at some point you'll have 8 going, 10 going. Like, how do you guys maintain good quality in a custom environment?
Yeah, it's
not like
really
cookie
hard.
cutter?
Yeah, like a custom home building company, you know, and I don't know other industries, but I would have to say it would be an extremely hard industry to scale your business in because it's like building a hot rod. You're not going to subcontract it out. You need to be there tapping the metal and like doing it yourself. So how you do it is by having really, really good guys. That's the only way. Like if I didn't have the 2 or 3 guys that work for me now that have sort of been there for a long time, I would be screwed. You know, you're running around like helicoptering every day, fixing, you know, mistakes. So yeah, it's having the guys and doing it really slowly. Like we've been at our size now for the last few years and we're just about to do a little bit more growth and maybe get one more guy on and just see. And if it doesn't work, you just pull back a little bit. But you're only ever stuffing up that much at a time, not, you know, a massive amount. So yeah, but further than that, I don't know. I don't know how some of those bigger guys do it. It's something I haven't figured out yet.
So it's your guys, but it's also the way that you train them up, like you say, slowly. You got to. It's almost like running we kind of like compared it to, you know, you got like a pizza shop, and it's like you need like your systems, make sure all the pizzas are the same. But then you also got like a 3 Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, the outcome is like much like it's real premium, and it's like some of it's like, you know, it's luxury, top end, blah blah blah. But that they still have to have really good systems and really good team members, and it's almost like a little bit like that, right? I don't know if that's the best analogy or not, but you got to have the right team members, you got to have the right systems in place, and you got to, you know, there's still got to be some sort of
it's got to be the
method to
same.
madness.
Yeah. It's just a matter of how big you can go. Yeah, all your guys just have to be an extension of you. That's it. They got to understand core values, culture, all those sorts of things. If they don't, it's never going to work.
Do you guys have like your values like written out?
Not currently, but it wasn't more than a week ago that I was scrolling through Instagram and there was someone talking about, you know, having the four core values, and they said, oh, we would pop quiz our apprentices on site and they would rattle off the core values. It sounded a bit cringy, but I was like, well, that's not a bad idea. You know, we've all got them. We all know what our values are. We just don't have the word for it. So
yeah, I think those things don't work if you just come up with stuff. What would be good if we were like
really good work, you know?
Yeah. It's like we accountable. You know, that sounds good. Yeah, we're going to be accountable. As long as those 4 things are like actually what you actually are, and then it's just like you say, it's just like a word to kind of snap you. Oh yeah. And then you can kind of hit people up. You know, when they do a bad job or they do stuff up, you can then kind of bring them back to the values and be like, did we really adhere to that?
Just reminds me of primary school. Yeah. Remember the values, mate. You know, I think the main thing is that like, you know, you're showing those values all the time. Like if the director and the boss is not fully invested in it, they're not going to give a shit, you know, down to the apprentices level. So yeah, I read an interesting thing the other day. It said, be a leader, not a manager. So that's essentially what I try to do, is show them, this is what I care about. This is what you should care about, you know, rather than sort of putting them down when they make mistakes. It's just showing them why that's frustrating for me. And, you know, it's like, I guess, being a parent, I suppose. Not that I'm a parent yet, but it's the same
it's a bit like that. It's a bit like that. It's like, I mean, you know, not the best way of saying it, but they say shit flows downhill, and like it's sort of whatever's at the top, it's going to trickle down into the team. So it all comes. So if you want to, half the time, if you want the team to change, you got to sort of start at the top, which is you, and then it'll just sort of go down. So if you're late all the time, they're going to be late all the time. All those little things, right?
Yeah.
So it is hard to be a leader, and it's hard to. What have you learned about leadership over the years?
Good question. Like firm but fair is really important. Like making a point to not, because there's the traditional method of being a builder or a tradesman. It's like you yell at your guys when they fuck up, but learning to do those white collary types of interactions when they're needed. So making the effort to go, hey, can you come into the office and just chat about, I notice you really don't have enough tools, or like something as trivial as that. I realize it's hard being an apprentice, but what do you reckon we put a little plan together in the next 6 months that you've got this, this, and this, and just getting them more incentivized and more buy-in, I suppose, rather than just kind of ripping on them for stuff is the goal.
Yeah, I think that's good, eh? Like firm but fair. I think that's a good way to do it. And actually, like, do you like, are you quite close to the guys? Like, do you have like a friendship with them? Or is it good to kind of keep that separation?
I'm very close with them. Yeah. So 2 of them were groomsmen at my wedding. So we got a very, very tight knit, especially with the core management team. We're all very, very close, which is obviously dangerous in many ways. But I think if there's mutual respect there and you've got good people, it's absolutely fine. It's when you've got, guys that aren't on the same page, they start taking advantage and those sorts of things happen. But I nip it in the bud pretty quick if I don't like something.
Yeah, that's good. Business, especially running construction business, like things don't always go to plan. Things don't always just like go smoothly. Over the last 8 years, if you had to sort of look back, what's sort of the hardest part or what's been the hardest period you've gone through running the business?
Probably COVID-esque times, I would say. Like, we were lucky in a sense that we were a small builder then, so little price rises hurt, but they didn't cripple us. But that severely affects your cash flow and profitability of the business. So, it quite easily turned me into being more churn profits, sort of focused on that rather than the quality. Obviously, when you're making good money, you're happy to go back and spend time doing things the right way. But when you're not, your focus shifts a little bit. So there was a couple of year period there where we were learning a lot of hard lessons with that sort of thing. And luckily now we're at the point where we've figured out margins and we can do the quality work. So just got to kind of stay in that little realm there.
What impact did that have on you, like personally, being like kind of, you obviously give a shit about quality and all that, and all of a sudden you got to sort of scrape for cash flow and like what
it hurts. Yeah. Like I said, I always wanted to be a builder. So like if this fails, I'll be at Woolies, or, I don't have a backup method or parents that were going to fund me or something. So if I go down, it's a reflection of me. So it's hard to not take it personally sometimes when you guys make mistakes and you've got to go in there and explain what's happened to a client as if it was you, and it is you. So that was it's always challenging when that happens.
Yeah. Has there been any projects you've lost a bunch of money on?
There's been some. Yes, there have been some. We've learnt some valuable lessons, stuff I probably won't disclose too much on here, but it all comes back down to having the right guys on the right job, I would say. And it was around that period we had some projects that didn't go as well as they should have, and that affected me more than just on a business level. It was it was sort of my identity as the builder. I'm like, oh my God, am I not good enough at this? Is this what I should be doing? And after sort of some reflection and continually working at it, you realize it's not. It's just what happens in life sometimes. And we sort of bounced back really well from it, took it in my stride, and now we're doing better than ever, doing better work than ever, and not looking and dwelling on those things basically.
Is it after that when you were like, I was going to back it up and go?
Yep. It was sort of a let's go do this for a year and reset kind of thing.
Were you burnt out?
Yeah. So I was burnt out, exhausted. Like I think there was a year there where we didn't make any money. like nothing, and we're turning over, I think we must turn over $6-7 million. And then I'm not doing this so I can be a millionaire, but if you're not making money and you're carrying that much liability, it hurts. So, but the good thing is that, yeah, it's what I wanted to be, was a builder. I chose to do it, and it was my responsibility to get us out of it. So, yeah. And yeah, luckily as well, I was taught how to run a business cash flow wise from a young age in my career, and I didn't go out and buy a Ram when I was 2 years into building and jet skis and all that sort of jazz. So we were financially fine. So it's a testament to doing it the right way.
Yeah. What was that like? You're getting married at all. Everything turns to shit. You're burnt out. What was that like from like your wife's perspective? How was her influence and impact during that time?
She loved it the second that I said, should we go traveling for a year? Yeah, she would happily do that forever. She's very carefree to some regard, Sarah. So yeah, she was all on board with it. Yeah, we have a very good relationship though, where she understands that is not just a little business venture. Being a builder and having this business is me. This is my it's my identity, is Jarryd the builder. So she kind of appreciated when things would affect me, and when I'd be down on those sorts of things, and was supportive about it. But yeah, I mean, she got to have a year off and go traveling. So who's not going to say yes to that?
I know, right? That's pretty good. Do you ever do you use her as a sounding board? Do you when tough days, do you share a lot with her? Do you kind of keep back a little bit and just make sure you shout to her a little bit? What's that relationship like? Because that's a hard one to navigate.
It is. I've tried all different sorts of things, and so is she. She's a criminal defense lawyer, so she has probably more things to whinge about than I do. But
so do you never ever win an argument? Is that pretty?
No, it's my don't air that bit. No, I honestly don't either. I try. No, we sort of do sometimes. We'll talk more about it, but I think anyone who's got a stressful job, you also learn to. Yes, you may want to talk to people, but your home life is your home life, and it's important that stays happy and comfortable. And if you start bringing too much shit home, then it affects that, and then they're kind of more concerned for you. And yeah, it's a balancing act, as anyone in a marriage would know. Yeah, there's certain things you talk about, certain things you're just like, that was just a shitty day. It's fine, move on and enjoy your night together.
Yeah,
so,
that's interesting. I've never heard someone say it like that, and now it makes sense to me. Got to be that sort of oasis, that sort of safe zone, come and just like recharge almost from the day. Otherwise, it's just like you get home and it just everything just continues. I think that's really important. What's some misconceptions do you think a lot of builders have about running a successful business?
Misconceptions, probably that it's easier as you get bigger and are doing it for longer. There's that old saying of, if you make it past 5 years, you're laughing sort of thing. I think as human beings, we have a sort of tendency to just push for more and more and more. And especially if you're a business owner, that's why you started doing it, right? That's what I've found is the easier it's become for me, the more I'll go and look for things that make it harder for me. So, we've just started doing little developments now, and I was like, oh, cool, we'll go do that. That'll be fun. We'll make money off it. Now I'm like, oh my fucking God, there's so much extra stress involved in that. And yeah, it's just the more you have, the more you want kind of thing.
Yeah. And in terms of burnout, stress, some people think stress is something that you should avoid at all costs because it's going to kill you. Other people say, no, stress is good. It means that you're sort of like on the, you're like on the edge of, it's like what living is. It's like,
Yeah.
What's your relationship with stress, and how do you deal with stress?
Oh, I think it's healthy. I don't know. I'm sure there's people out there that say it's not, but I've learnt over the last few years how to manage it better, like when it's getting too bad. And, we all have those days where they're average, but as long as it's not like that for 3 months, then it's okay. But yeah, I think I'm I'm kind of pro stress in that sense. Like I do my best work because I'm stressed, or stress creates motivation and attention, and you'll do bigger days and put more effort in. So as long as it's managed, I would say, like having a really good home life is important. Doing things on the weekend, like we travel a fair bit. Like I said before, I took a year off to go around Australia, so I'm quite in tune with what I can handle and what I can't now. I'll look back when I'm 80 and think that's ridiculous. Yeah, I probably had no idea, but
yeah. Because the extension of that really is like the mindset game, eh? And we talk a lot about on here. I've talked to so many builders about like the battlefield of the mind, and how it's like everything really that exists is in your mind. When you like think the world's crashing, or whether you're like charging. It's all up here.
Yeah.
And so, have you ever struggled with that over the years, and how do you sort of keep your mind in the game in a constructive way?
Yeah, I definitely have. Yeah, like right before we went traveling, that was sort of a tough period there to be sort of thinking, why am I doing this? Should we sell up and go get a job making just as much money? And I think for me, it just comes back to like, this is what I chose to do, and this is what I want to do. And if you can get your head around that, it's not so much like, is my business successful or not? It's like, this is my thing and this is what I'm doing. That's it. I've got to make it work, sort of thing.
Yeah. Is it more about like is it more about just taking one step at a time, thinking a bit more, being more focused in your thinking rather than constantly thinking big picture? Like, what do you think?
I think I'll come back to it, having a good team helps. If you're running around all day doing 20 meetings and you're working till 1 o'clock in the morning, you're never going to get anywhere, even though you might be saving 100K on someone else's role. So having time to reflect is crucial. Yeah, you can sort of reground yourself, and we're all guilty of having, imposter syndrome. And like I said, going on Instagram and seeing bigger, better builders, but you don't get anywhere doing that. I think it's important to step back sometimes and go, well, I'm doing pretty good. So if you can do that, I mean, I haven't mastered it. I'm sure a lot of people have, but yeah, if you can do that every now and then, that certainly helps. Doesn't feel like you're just running on a little hamster wheel, getting nowhere then, which I think a lot of builders we're all notorious for it. It's the blue collar industry.
Yeah. Now that you've been in the game a while, you're like mid-30s, and obviously this may change moving forward, but where you are right now, like what does success mean to you?
Yeah, you're right. It's forever changing. Right now, it means sustaining what I have done to date, and doing it in as healthy a way as possible. That's sort of what I'm after. Like I said, we're looking for a little bit of growth, but I don't need to go ridiculously big. I'm happy. I reached my goal as being, a successful builder, and that's what I intend to keep doing. And then sort of surrounding myself with good guys as well. And it's nice to know that they're succeeding and they're, getting paid well and their families are happy. And yeah, it's kind of like creating that culture now is what I love. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I feel like we could keep going.
No worries.
But for the sake of you have to take on that traffic back to Brisbane.
Yes.
And but no, I really appreciate it, man. You making the trip down, and I had a good time, and I hope you did too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys will get a lot out of it. So I appreciate
no worries. It's like a free psychology session, isn't it? Just
a lot of bro psychology.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Jarryd.
Cheers.
That's it for today's episode, and thanks again to Forte for making this week's episode possible. If you're after timber surfaces that don't just look beautiful but are built to endure, Forte is leading the way with a focus on sustainability and craftsmanship and unparalleled performance. They're helping bring ambitious projects to life across interiors and exteriors.